Mask and vaccine mandates, even lockdowns around the world are starting to pop up because of the Omicron variant. This as vaccination rates continue to rise steadily, with more than 3.6 billion people being fully vaccinated around the world. It's really quite amazing, leaving many to wonder, should we be even afraid of this new Omicron variant at all? So joining us now to discuss more on that and other recent COVID news, internist at Northern Westchester Hospital, Dr. Frank Contessessa. Welcome to you, doctor.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get right to it. New York's mandates are in effect. The governor is screaming about the high case levels. She, Dr. Fauci, and Biden contemplating even changing the definition of fully vaccinated. We need to stop the hyperventilating, and I want you to help us do that. Okay, what is the data that we really should be looking at here? Because I don't think it's just cases alone. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree completely, Tom. Cases are going up, and I can tell you just from a personal level, in my own office, the cases are skyrocketing just in the last week or so. But you can't just look at cases. You have to look at deaths and hospitalizations. And the hospitalizations are going up a little bit, but the deaths to this point really aren't. Omicron is showing to be a relatively mild form of coronavirus. And I think we shouldn't be panicking about it at all.
So it does seem that the new variant is becoming more contagious. Reports are coming in. And again, we're trying to follow the science here. The data is very important. There's data is coming out that symptoms are more comparable to the flu or the common cold. So is this really truly the grounds that we're seeing for people to panic?
No, there should be no panic at all. As we see the flu increase as well, too. Actually, it's interesting. I'm seeing just as much flu as COVID right now. There should be no panic. I've seen relatively mild cases to this point. As a matter of fact, most of the cases I'm seeing, I'm confusing with a cold. And thankfully, I have in my office rapid PCR testing. And this is one area where I think we can take another approach. And yes, vaccines are important. I'm certainly pro-vaccine. But things that are lacking are rapid point of care testing. My parent company, Northwell, has been gracious enough to put one of these machines in my office, and I can't tell you how valuable it's been. So let's say I'm preparing to see patients this morning, and I'll have a stream of sick patients coming in, and I'm able to do one single nasal swab that can differentiate between COVID, flu A, flu B, and respiratory syncytial virus. Now, and I get the results in about 45 minutes.
No, that's terrific. And, you know, there's a school of thought out there, doctor, that Omicron actually could be kind of a transition period where we're moving into a less deadly virus that is really more endemic. You know, I've had a lot of doctors I've interviewed say, look, everybody's going to get this at some point, more or less. It is going to be endemic. We're going to have to learn to live with it. What do you think?
I agree completely, and I've been echoing that message. I've been telling my patients that and coming on places like Newsmax and saying that for the last couple of weeks since Omicron really presented itself. And you just played a clip a little while ago of an emergency room doctor yesterday saying that this is what viruses do. They evolve, they become milder, they become more contagious, but they become milder. And we have to learn to live with it. And that's absolutely what's going to happen here with Omicron.
Doctor, one final question for you. There seems to be, whether it's the president or the CDC or Fauci, or even some of these governors, they seem to think that we're going to be able to just sort of vaccinate our way out of this. That, you know, if you get 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 shots, whatever, that is really the only solution here. But it doesn't seem, I think that Americans are pushing back against that, and it doesn't seem that you can kind of just boost your way out of a virus. What do you think?
Well, I agree completely, and that's exactly what we're seeing. You know, it's working great so far, isn't it? We have to find other ways. And listen, the vaccines are certainly, and I want to really emphasize that they've been an important tool.
Right.
I think what I just mentioned earlier about early testing, and another thing is early treatment. And, you know, it's very frustrating as a doctor when I diagnose somebody with an illness to say, okay, go home now and good luck. And, you know, if you can't breathe, go to the hospital. We have so few tools available to us to treat early. One of the tools that we have had has been the monoclonal antibodies, which I've had enormous success with. I've given to hundreds of patients. Number one, it hasn't been well publicized. And number two, there hasn't been enough access to it. I'm actually having trouble having access for my own patients because of the spike we've been seeing.
Yeah.
I've been having trouble getting access for my own patients.
People should get that, and we're going to leave that topic and the access to those types of medications to our next conversation. I want to thank you for your insights, Dr. Frank Contessessa. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thanks, Tom. Have a great day.